So why don't we call it to order, get that going, and we can do the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, for liberty and justice for all.
I had forgotten to send the minutes out earlier. I didn't realize that till I went looking for the old minutes, and so I sent them out only 2 days ago.
I got it.
I don't know if you guys had a chance to see them.
I was thinking that, yeah, I wasn't there.
Yeah, you weren't here for the last meeting.
Yeah.
So can I get a motion on it?
I move to approve, but I have a question.
Okay, second, go ahead.
On page 2, where it says, it lists the special ed payments, special services, fuel oil, field maintenance. Is that 288K, 25K, 12K, 14K? Or is it just $288?
No, those are all thousands.
Thousands, okay,
So I will add thousands.
okay.
So can you make a motion to amend that?
Yeah, I amend my motion to approve to add in the thousands in
Okay,
the appropriate place.
second.
Do I second if I'm gonna abstain? Or did you?
I
just-
second, so we
Oh, you
can just
seconded it,
vote if there's
okay.
no other questions. In favor?
Yep,
I'm gonna abstain.
Abstain, okay. Okay, so let's jump right to the agenda.
Yeah, so the next item is business administrator comments. Can we jump right into it?
Yeah,
Okay, so let's see. I've reached out to all the authorized electric providers or electricity providers that on the New Hampshire Public Utilities Commission's website. And so far, only 5 of the companies listed have expressed interest in providing electricity rates. A
how
lot
long
of,
ago now?
sorry,
How long ago did you reach out to them?
a couple days ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yep.
okay. I'm still, a lot of them I had to leave messages for, and a lot of them made it very difficult to try to get to salespeople. They wanted you to start the process of actually moving over all your electricity information to them before they would actually assign you a salesperson. Okay, so I also had an interesting conversation with one of the electricity providers about market timing. And I forwarded that email off to Jamie, and that gentleman said that if we, there's usually the best pricing is going to occur late in the fall, which is closer to where the contracts end. So right now, I think what it means is we need to kind of educate ourselves a little more about the market itself and the timing of it. And then from there, we can probably get a better understanding of when to go out and lock in the rates.
our
Okay.
contract ends in November, right?
Yeah, the first one ends November 1st and the last one ends November 21st.
So why would you, how do you pick a company if you don't know what the rate is gonna be?
Well, what it is, I have to, the process is going to be this. I have to provide them with all of like historical information, all the meter numbers. I have to give them an authorization form where they can go to the to Unitil and get all of our documentation. I also have to provide them with invoices, copy of invoices, and from that they can generate a quote for us. Okay.
Okay, you don't actually have to move over, you just have to give them
Right.
information.
Yeah.
Okay.
The
Okay.
ones that I've been ignoring, they've been trying to get me to like start the process of moving over.
Mhm.
So I've been trying to stay, a lot of them seem like they were kind of like fly by night ones.
Mhm.
So I was, and there was one that I just said, you know, they gave me a quote of almost 12.7 cents per
These-
kilowatt hour.
Most of these are just resellers,
Yes, exactly.
right? Do they have commercial departments?
Only a handful, well, they all could do commercial rates,
Oh, yeah.
but only a handful of them had a
Service?
salesperson dedicated to commercial.
Okay,
Okay.
so that's something to consider when you're looking at the rate, comparing.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm trying to kind of weed it down to ones I would be comfortable with doing business with.
Yeah.
Okay, right now we have Consolidated. I got the salesmen there. They were very easy. They're the ones who actually gave us all the market information. I feel comfortable with them.
Are they also the phone company, Consolidated Communications? Or
No. No, I'm sorry.
This is Consolidated Edison? Like,
Yeah,
okay.
okay. I lost my train of thought on that, but okay, so I'm going to move on to the next item. We also reached out to the towns of Kingston and Newton to see if they're interested in participating in our electricity bid. Because really, they're not going to really reduce our rate because they're not going to produce that much, or they don't use that much.
Say they're not nearly the user we are, right?
No,
Yeah, that's what I thought.
no,
But
but
you can help them.
I can help them.
Yeah.
Okay, and so just to let you know, both of them have been asked, and they're both interested in it.
Okay, good.
So beginning in March, I'm going to meet with the town of Kingston on a group net metering project. And I gave a link on my business administrator comment about what that is. Basically, the hope is to reduce our electricity costs. All right. And I'm going to be bringing more information to the school board. What group net metering is, just a kind of like a broad overview. It would be putting a large solar array on a piece of property, and they sell the electricity to the grid at a retail rate, and I'm buying it from another company at a wholesale rate. Okay, and I end up with credits to offset my bill.
Who has to maintain the solar field?
That's going to be all information that is
Okay.
going to be fleshed out as part of this project. I'm starting my first meeting in March, so I don't have great details.
Yeah.
Where's this land?
Right now, they're looking at the town landfill.
And so the town owns that, so that the school can put a solar system on.
Yeah, no.
I know what you mean.
Solar panels there. Wait, we don't want it, okay. You move on.
Yeah,
I'd be leery. I mean, someone's gonna pay for it. So how does it get funded? Solars are extremely expensive. Most of them are made in China. There's all kinds of turmoil going on right now. We'll need to see details, obviously.
yeah, absolutely. And I'm just trying to let you guys know that this is out there.
Yep.
Okay. The next thing too is I'm working to simplify and improve the fiscal reporting. The trust information that I'm giving out tonight is directly linked to the accounting system. My next project is going to be simplifying the expenditure reporting. I actually started doing it and it was very difficult. So what I'd like to do with trying to simplify the reporting is get more of a global look at it and try to get some statistical information pulled out for it. So you can look at everything more like in statistical information. It's simpler. And this information can be used by taxpayers, so the school board and management. Okay. The next thing is Jamie asked for an accounting of encumbrances from 1 month to the next. And what I did is I have a link to a spreadsheet. Basically what I did is I dumped out all the information out of the accounting system. These are all the purchase orders that were approved in the month of January. So what I also found out was the system produces wrong data for one of the columns. So I'm trying to work out the quality of the reporting. So I'm just throwing it out, but I also want to make sure that you understand that I'm not 100% confident with it yet, but I'm working towards that. So what I found out is column C is the amount of the purchase order that was issued to date that we paid off of that, or I'm sorry, through the end of January, we paid towards that encumbrance is column F. Column G is a year-to-date information. Column G is just bad. Don't use that at all. And then, so basically I put in a formula in column O, and that formula just takes what was issued and what was paid. And right now that seems to be more accurate than the system generated number. Okay. So this is just an example of information that I can get out of the system. I'm just throwing it out, you guys can comment
Yeah,
on it.
I'll start looking at it. Just, Maura wasn't here for the last meeting, just so you're aware what that discussion was. So we have at the end, when we look at our expenditures, we say, well, there's this much that's unencumbered at this point in time. And then 2 months ago, that changed by 250,000.
Right.
Last month, it changed by 100,000, meaning we've encumbered more. So what I was curious as to, well, what are we encumbering more of? Because we already prorated out and accounted for as best we could payroll, special ed, health insurance. So what are the changes that are driving those big pieces and those big shifts? And this is the first attempt to try to say, well, let's try and gather that.
Okay.
Yeah, and I want to be very specific in what he just said. This is my first attempt at it.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, what is column I? There's all those faults listed.
It's whether, okay, it's whether the purchase order was voided. Okay, so if it was voided, it would just say true. Okay.
Oh, okay.
So
if
it's
it
another way of
wasn't-
saying it's an open PO.
Right.
Okay.
I don't even want to say that this is like a clean way of doing it.
Mhm.
There was just a report that it produced. It didn't give me a total, so I dumped it to Excel and it gave me this.
And what were you saying about the difference between the amount and the paid amount?
So column O has a
C and-
formula,
C and F I'm looking at.
right? So what I did is, oh, C and F, yes. So column O just takes column C and subtracts column F to come up with what's remaining in it. Okay, so when we issue a purchase order, either the purchase order is going to be fulfilled up front.
So that's like a running balance?
Yeah, so say for example, I bought I can issue a purchase order for this truck,
Or current balance, rather.
right? So the purchase order for the truck, we're gonna probably pay out on the truck a couple of times. Now that's a bad example. Let's use the books as an example. Say we order, $1,000 worth of books, but only $600 comes in. We'll apply $600 to the purchase order and 400 would be remaining. Okay.
Yep.
All right, I'm gonna move on.
Can I, ask this? Not necessarily, this just pertains to, I'm not a Google Doc person. I can't, what I like to do when I look at numbers is, like, I was just gonna, in my mind, it's like, oh, let's sort it by dollar value and look at like the big ones and see what jumps out, but I can't, right? I can't edit anything. Or if I did, I would screw you guys up. Is that fair to say?
I downloaded it to Excel, so I had it on my own, and then I could put in sums. and-
Yes.
Okay, so I'm allowed to download
You
it?
can download it.
Okay, I didn't know.
And if you
That's
can't,
the easiest way to do it.
Yeah, okay.
and if you can't,
And can I download it on?
well,
the
no,
phone?
okay.
I mean, I'm guessing this is like private information. I
No, it's
can't-
not.
Oh, okay.
You
No,
can't download it, well, you can, but it's still gonna be
All right.
in sheets, it's not gonna be in Excel, because the
Oh,
Chromebook doesn't have Excel.
yeah, okay.
all right. You know the Google Drive? Can you
Mhm.
see the little screen right there?
Yep.
Okay, so I'm gonna bring up the Google Drive. There's shared drives. Okay, I'm sorry, shared drives.
You can see that, good eyes.
Okay, then there's the finance,
Yep.
the finance drive.
Mhm.
It's super slow. Anyways, all the information that's in there is in that drive. You have full rights to that. You can go in and change it.
Oh, yeah, but I don't want, I don't, if I'm
No,
gonna go in and do my playing around, I don't wanna mess up your document.
That's why I
Yeah.
usually do it at home or on my own, just
Yeah.
bring it into Excel.
I don't
Right.
I don't wanna go and sort, I don't wanna sort your Excel document.
yeah, don't change the numbers, basically, okay? Because really,
Yeah.
what's in that drive is historical information,
Yeah.
okay? So, but you have full access to that drive.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
I'm just more concerned that I'm gonna change. It makes me nervous that people can change other people's documents.
Yeah,
Again, just because I don't use this a lot, so, okay.
okay, so now we also are, we've made some significant progress in reconciling the new accounting system. Since I arrived, we were 3 to 9 months behind in reconciling cash. I'm excited now that we're current with our cash reconciliations, and our new system is easier to reconcile than the old system once we addressed the beginning balance issues. For the past several months, I've reported cash balances out of our bank account, okay? The balances didn't include reconciling items such as outstanding checks. I'm excited now to be able to report more accurate information and timely. But I also want to stress that we're not done reconciling the entire system. However, cash is reconciled. So the cash balance of the district as of January 31st, 2022 was $5,531,023.52. This balance is sufficient to operate the district for 1.8 months, assuming a cash burn rate of $3,001,000 per month. Also, the towns of Kingston and Newton are current on their monthly assessment payments. Fremont has paid its second quarter tuition bill at the beginning of February, okay?
So that's half of their payments for the year.
Correct.
Okay.
So Matt, are we getting more money in March or April
From Fremont?
from anybody? You said the balance is enough to operate the district for 1.8 months.
Oh, yeah. So the towns pay us on a monthly basis.
Okay,
Okay, I just wanted to kind of say that if everything were to stop, like there was no revenue coming in,
right,
we could just keep continuing spending like normal for just 1.8 months.
okay,
And what that whole statistic is how healthy is your cash balance?
right.
Okay, typically I like to run somewhere around 1 month. Okay, right now we're at 1.8 months.
So the towns pay monthly.
Towns pay monthly.
And there's still half of the Fremont tuition to come in.
That's right. And also half of the state aid to come in.
Okay,
Okay. So as of January 31st, we recorded revenue of $29,166,806. And this doesn't include the use of fund balance to reduce the tax rate of 2.5 million. If we include the use of fund balance as a revenue source, we recorded 91.05% of our budgeted revenues. I'm anticipating meeting our gross budgeted revenues by fiscal year end. The only significant transaction to revenue in this month is the second quarter tuition payment for the Fremont School District for $943,799. Now, non-health insurance expenditures through January 31st, 2022 were $15,343,625.48. And the encumbrances were $29,947,276. I just want to pause here for a second. So when I talk about trying to summarize the reporting, what I'm going to be trying to do is break this information out. So it's like salaries, benefits, supplies, and so on. And you can see it more in percentages, because I'm just giving you a bulk number here. I think it would be more useful if you could see it in those categories. Now, the remaining appropriation is $2,090,421 or 6.88%. January's transactions of interest are $4,814 for grade 7 and 8 math curriculum, mental health training paid by a grant for $8,800, bus diesel fuel for $4,626, and installing intercom speakers in Baker's hallways for $7,361, the high school, middle school bond payment for $163,375, teachers college books for $16,709, which were grant funded. February transactions of interest to date, and this is kind of jumping ahead. We put a proximity card on the elevator at the high school for $2,856. This does not include the Otis costs. Bus radios for $4,142 and an annual report printing costs of $2,550. Now,
I got a question too.
On the bus radios.
Yes.
So we're buying the radios for the buses?
we had a problem where the buses had could not communicate directly with the school. And so those are our radios because it's our frequency.
And so they belong to us,
They belong
because
to
you got an
us.
RFP out for transportation, if in fact the current bus vendor does not win that, the radios stay with us, not the,
That's
not the
correct.
bus vendor.
That's right.
So does that go between the bus
No.
communications center or between each buses in the school?
It goes between the schools and the bus drivers,
Okay. So there's one on each bus.
right? Yeah, we had a situation where there was a medical issue on a bus. And they needed to communicate directly to the school and couldn't do so. And it took a huge amount of time for the information to loop around. Health insurance expenditures, if you don't mind, I'm going to jump forward. Health insurance expenditures through January 31st, 2022 were $2,060,000. Encumbrances of that were $2,248,000. Remaining, including the premium holiday, which I haven't transferred out, is $622,888 or 12.63%. We reconciled health insurance and implemented an encumbrance for retirees. We continue to see the numbers change from month to month, but hope it will calm down for the February or March report. I literally just finished up my reconciliation of health insurance last week. Now, for future considerations, I don't have any update for the future considerations today. This is because we spent our time today collecting surplus furniture from another school district. So just to kind of give you an idea, we've outfitted identical furniture in the high school that we currently have. So when you go in there, there's going to be a lot more furniture. I also have another stash of that same furniture that we're going to try to modify for Bakey.
Great.
Good. Question, it's not here on future consideration, but we were trying to rush through and get some work done on the field maintenance over at Swayze. What's the status on that?
Over at Chase Field.
Chase, excuse me.
I know, I wish Dan was here. Boy, it's been a while since I've had to think about this, so I might get some of the facts wrong. I know that a lot of the dirt is down and they were waiting for the spring. It's kind of interesting. We had a beautiful day today. I
We
think
pay for that on Friday.
I know.
The bill is coming.
Ground is still frozen.
Yes,
though.
yeah. It is my understanding that they're going to be seeding right away, and it's going to be ready just in time for usage during the summer.
So we're still on track to the plan.
Yes.
Was that what we were hoping for was summer, not the spring sports? I forget now where we left off.
Yeah, I forgot whether it's spring.
We
or
were trying to
summer.
make sure it was ready for the start of spring sports, which I think was the April.
Yeah, okay.
timeframe.
So it won't be ready for spring sports then.
I hope it will be. I think it would be, why don't I try to do an update for facilities?
Just
Okay.
who's
Yeah.
responsible for watering it and all of that so that it grows?
We are,
Okay, do we have sprinklers out there?
yes, there are sprinklers at Chase.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
now the next item is the trust funds. Now, to make this work, I have to dump the information to my computer, and then I have to produce it in an Excel document. I mean, in a PDF document. So, special education expendable trust through January 31st all of these are through January 31st, 2022. The balance is $241,213.42. And the only change, the only change in that is interest for the month. Now, the capital improvement and maintenance capital reserve fund, the ending balance is $273,074. And again, that's interest for the month. The next one is the unanticipated educational expenses, capital reserve fund. How come you're not going to stay over there? That ending balance is $200,225.17. Again, interest for the month. The facility use revolving fund has a balance of $213,030, And the only activity in there is building rental of the old middle school for $11,666.67.
Question on the rental.
Yeah,
Is that every month for 12 months or some other period?
it's every month for 12 months.
Okay.
So the total of all of our capital reserve funds and expendable trust funds is $927,513. I included the contingency, the 2.5% of net assessments of $545,012. That's just a reserve that's on the balance sheet of fund balance. It brings our reserves up to $1,472,525. So more just for your own education, that contingency fund can only be used for emergencies. Okay.
Yeah, and I'll just point out that we are only getting nominal interest rate on the trust funds, and that's because that's what we've requested. We've requested not to be investing this in the marketplace because we don't know when we're going to need the funds. And as you can see, what's happened in the last week, the market has dropped precipitously. And we don't have that risk because they're very, very cash-like instruments. So it's only nominal interest, but the principal is protected. And that's what we had asked to have happen. So just for clarifications.
And in my experience, there was one community that I know of that did invest their funds in the stock market. And when it came time to withdraw the funds weren't there. So I completely agree with Jamie on that.
That's what happens when you have brokers on the school board. I have no idea. I'm just kidding.
Okay. I went through the budgeted reports. Do you want me to go through them again in my business administrator's
I
comments?
just want to see. So 622, we got about roughly 420. So that's 200,000 in normal spending plus the premium that's still in that 622.
Yes,
right?
yes.
So that hasn't changed. That's been pretty flat.
It's
Period to period, because that was about where we were
it
last month.
changed this month, but even though I put in the encumbrance for it, okay, the amount of that change went down significantly. I just need to make it calm down for one more month, and I can reconcile it for one more month, and then I can say definitively what it is.
But there wasn't a big difference from
No.
last month to this month.
No, there's not.
I
think
on the
it's-
health spending. That's what I'm kind of looking for, is to see what my big differences are. So that's in line with what I expected to see.
Yeah.
So I don't have any concerns there.
Mhm.
It was 656 last time. And we're looking at 622, so about 30,000.
Yeah, that's right.
And is that going to be the retirees that you're picking up now?
It shouldn't be.
Because
I mean, I put in an
last
encumbrance
time.
in there. So there shouldn't be a change from one month to the next unless they made a budget transfer. Okay.
So just for people watching, so if 3 people change from single to family coverage, that's that money.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it doesn't take a lot to shift
Right,
what that encumbrance would be.
right. But the system, this new system will now change the encumbrance if they go from single to family.
Yes.
The old system would not. And Jim picked up that, and it was a big change from one month to the next.
Will it go the other way too if someone goes from family to
Yes.
single?
Yes. And just so you know, I have this giant spreadsheet that reconciles health insurance by the person for the entire year now.
Well,
So
what do you view that on?
I have 2 monitors. I have to drag it across both of them. All right, open items. The first one has to deal with the leaks in
I
the
just want to
roof.
check on the non-health. We did the health. I just want to look
Yep.
at the non-health. So 2090, it looks like. So that was a $300,000 change. And that was a $400,000 change last month. Do you know what drives that? That's what you're trying to pick up in the,
I'd like to change how the report is, because looking at it in the line items is like looking at forest. It would be easier if I can break it up into categories. and then address it by, because like if you were to pull out the salaries and benefits, those really shouldn't change much. You know who you have. And then when they make a change, I can say, these people came on board or these people left. Right now, you're looking at just a sea of accounts.
Yeah, my concern is at the current burn rate, additional encumbrances, we're only gonna have at the end, just in that account, somewhere in the neighborhood of $400,000, and that has been well over $1 million for the last numerous years. So just,
I don't think it's gonna be like that.
well, that's what I'm trying to get a handle on what that burn rate is. So we're at 400, we're at 300, by average of 2 is 350, at times it by 5.
Yeah,
You know, I'm up to $1.5 million, and there's only 2 million in it.
I have a year-end estimate and it gets, I fine tune it as I go along. It's not, I don't want to like pull it out right now because it's not accurate. But really March is really the best time where I can pull it out like I did last year.
Yeah, so
We
let's
sat down and
let's
just
put that
had
on
a-
the agenda for the next,
Yeah.
for the next meeting in March.
Yeah,
And then whoever's,
We don't have a date for that meeting.
no, we don't even know who the committee is.
Right.
But whoever it is, that's the appropriate time to start looking at where are we for year end and what does that starting to look like?
yeah, because that's
You only
also,
get a quarter to go
Right.
at that point in time.
Okay.
Okay,
all right, open items. I don't want to give an update on the high school roof because I literally had all of my guys out getting furniture today. Book purchases, down at the bottom there, we have 2 new purchases. The first one is K through 3 phonics teachers consumables, and then K through 3 Envision Math. The first one was for $412. Then the second one was for $2,610. All right.
and the reason for that, just so everybody knows, is I've asked to be updated when we're buying books. I want to know what books we're buying.
So is Savvis, is that a publisher or a program?
That's a company that sells books.
Okay.
So I would say they're a publisher. All right. Can I jump into budget adjustments?
If nobody has any questions?
Okay, the first one is, these are all special education budget adjustments. The first one is just to reallocate funds to cover a position at Memorial. It's a paraprofessional position.
You're just changing from schools?
Yeah, so basically, there's a need that was identified and we have to move. We're moving a person to Memorial, but we also need to still do the service at Beakey. That's really all that I know. I don't get myself involved too much in special education.
So it's not one school to another. It looks like it's outside professional services to Memorial.
Exactly.
Okay.
Do we want to go through each of them and you either approve all of them as a motion, or you want to approve each individual one?
I just shouldn't do them all together.
Yeah,
Which item is this? I'm not seeing that on my drive.
Very first,
Yeah, so,
Under the.
are there
business
special
administrator?
education budget
oh,
adjustments?
he's looking at the drive.
Right.
Pull up the agenda.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm going through the link through the
Okay,
agenda.
I'll do
There's 4 special education items that are all under budget adjustment.
that. Okay. Go ahead, I'm all set.
Tell me when you're ready.
I'm ready.
Okay, so the second item, this one here is to reallocate funds from Memorial to the middle school. Oh, Memorial and middle school to Beakey to cover contracted psychological services.
This is other than what was anticipated clearly because we're shifting the
Yes,
accounts, right?
yes.
Do we have any indication that this is tied in with lockdowns, COVID, et cetera, or no, or no?
If it was, if it was due to COVID, I'm sure we'd be looking at grant funding for it.
Because I mean, what you're reading, particularly when this is talking about psychological services, that's pretty pervasive in terms of the impact that has been on students for this whole
Yeah,
COVID scenario and time out of school and learning issues and
yes,
all kinds of other
Yes.
issues.
and we have the Systems of Cares grant that I think addresses it, but Patty could speak more about this.
Okay.
Okay. This one here is just specific to special education. I would say that a student would have a need for some psychological service. And judging from the amount of it, it's significant.
Yeah, if you could just follow up with them. I don't want to get into public discussions about in particular people, because
Sure.
we can't, that'd be wrong.
Right,
But we should understand, at least from an administrative and grant management perspective, whether or not this might qualify for COVID grant.
Sure.
Given,
Sure.
if it's in fact related to COVID, if that's what the
Yes.
service is for.
yes. Okay. The third one. Okay, this is reallocating funds from the middle school and high school to Bakey to cover, I have to keep thinking about this. This is physical therapy and occupational therapy costs. So there's a student at Bakey that requires additional services.
And there's not as much services needed to high school and
Yeah,
middle
they-
school versus what was anticipated.
Right.
Okay.
And the last one. This one is to reallocate middle school speech appropriation to cover contracted speech costs at Bakey and Memorial. So this is going from a wait a minute, let me look at this.
Looks like in-house speech therapist from middle school
Yes,
versus outsourcing speech therapy for the younger grades.
yes.
Do we just not need it at the middle school? I mean, because this one just
No.
looks clearly to me like a position.
I do know
Yeah.
a little bit of piece
Looks
on
like-
this here, and basically, I don't know. I'm just seeing how far I can go with this. We have. I don't want to say it. I can't say it.
Can you?
I can
so-
say it in non-public.
Okay,
But basically, he said it correctly. In-house services.
and
Going
I guess
to
I was just
outside
questioning this
services.
one over the other one, because this one clearly to me seems like we're taking a position away from the middle school. So are you able to answer? Yes, we
No,
didn't
it's
need
not-
This position at the middle school that,
No, it's
when I
not,
see that amount, that's just what I'm thinking.
we're not taking away a position.
Okay,
Basically, we're covering for a position.
we're covering for a position at the other two schools.
So it would seem.
So we just had extra money at the middle school?
There's some positions where they contract between salaries and contracted services,
Mm,
depending upon whether they have a person or not have a person.
mhm.
And so basically, these monies just go switch back and forth. They can be programmed as one or the other.
I'm gonna try and say it differently and see if I'm understanding. We budgeted to have a position in the middle school.
Yes,
Don't have that person, but have the budgeted line item. And we're using that budgeted line item to address where we're getting the needs in the other schools.
yes,
But next year, we could potentially, that position still stays at the middle school that next year,
yeah.
we could potentially fill it.
Well, contracted services are a little more expensive than having in-house services, okay? So you got to go and pull the money from somewhere else to cover the difference.
Okay,
Any other questions on that?
Nope.
Okay,
I make a motion to approve all, is that 4 of those?
yes,
I'll
All 4 of
second,
the adjustments?
second.
Okay. Any further discussions in addition to what we just had?
No.
Okay, can we have a vote? All in favor?
all right, thank you.
Anything else, Matt?
That's it.
So that the public knows, this is the last finance committee meeting until the election. The organization meeting is on the 16th of March. At that point in time, there will be a election for a chairman of the board, and that chairman of the board will work with the board in order to assign people to committees, and then that committee will then be deciding when the next meeting is. So we don't have a next meeting as of present. And with that, if there's nothing else, I will adjourn the meeting.